Hey everyone, before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. When Melissa and I first got married, we made promises that felt unbreakable. We'd built our lives around each other. Shared bills, shared dreams, shared scars. But somewhere along the line, those promises began to fade like ink washed by time. Her laughter, once a melody that filled our home, had turned into something sharp, hollow, like a knife hidden behind a smile. I tried to ignore the change, convincing myself it was stress, exhaustion, or maybe just the rhythm of long-term love. But denial only lasts until truth kicks the door open. It started small, late nights at the office, phone calls she took in another room, makeup she never wore before suddenly becoming part of her daily routine. "It's just work," she said whenever I asked. "You wouldn't understand how demanding my job's gotten." I wanted to believe her. God knows I did. But then one night, she came home smelling of cologne that wasn't mine, and something in my chest snapped. I confronted her. She didn't cry or deny it. Instead, she smirked, like the truth wasn't a burden but a weapon she'd been waiting to use. "You think everything belongs to you, don't you?" she said coldly. "Even me. But newsflash, Daniel. My lips don't belong to you anymore." Her words cut deeper than any betrayal could. It wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. Detached. Free. Like she'd rehearsed the line 100 times before saying it. My world spun, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to make sense of how we'd gone from partners to strangers standing in the ruins of a home we built together. But instead I laughed. A bitter, hollow laugh that scared even me. "Then you can keep your debts too," I said. The words slipped out like venom. Unplanned, raw, final. She blinked, confused, and for the first time I saw fear flicker in her eyes. Maybe she thought I'd beg or fight for her like before. But that version of me, the man who tolerated her lies, died the moment she said her lips belonged elsewhere. The silence that followed was deafening. She tried to say something, but I'd already turned away. I didn't need her explanations anymore. Sometimes closure isn't about understanding. It's about realizing you deserve peace more than proof. Melissa didn't leave that night. She lingered in the living room, pacing like a trapped animal, her confidence cracking under the weight of what she'd just heard. I could feel her eyes on me as I packed my laptop and a few essentials into a bag, but I didn't look at her. There was nothing left to say that wouldn't rot us both from the inside out. "Daniel," she finally whispered, her voice trembling. "You don't mean that. You're just angry." I zipped the bag slowly, keeping my tone calm. "You're right. I'm angry. But I'm also done." Her face fell, confusion giving way to desperation. "What do you mean done? You can't just walk away after everything." "After everything?" I cut in sharply. "Melissa, I gave you everything. My trust, my patience, my time. And you traded it all for office lights and whispered lies." She flinched. "It wasn't like that," she murmured, her voice barely audible. I turned then, meeting her eyes for the first time in what felt like forever. "Then tell me what it was like," I said quietly. "Tell me why you smell like another man's cologne. Tell me why you said your lips no longer belong to me." She opened her mouth but no words came out. Just silence. That same silence that had been filling our house for months, slowly choking the life out of what used to be love. I walked toward the door. "You said your lips don't belong to me," I repeated, my voice steady now. "Fine. But everything that came with this marriage, the debts, the bills, the obligations, those were part of the deal too. And now you can keep all of that." She gasped, realizing what I meant. The car loan, the credit card, the personal debt she'd hidden under the guise of small expenses. It all came back to her now, every forgotten payment and late notice. "You wouldn't," she whispered, stepping forward. "I already did," I said, hand on the doorknob. "The accounts are yours. The names are switched. You wanted freedom, Melissa. Congratulations, you've got it, down to the last dollar." Her expression crumbled. The woman who once prided herself on control suddenly looked powerless. I didn't feel joy or revenge, just a cold, quiet relief. Sometimes losing someone isn't a tragedy. It's a release. I stepped out into the night, the cool air biting against my skin. Behind me I could hear her sob softly, a sound that once would have broken me. But now it only reminded me of how much peace costs, and how worth it can be. The next morning, I woke up in a small motel on the edge of town, sunlight leaking through faded curtains. My phone buzzed repeatedly. Missed calls, messages, her name flashing over and over. I didn't open a single one. There was nothing she could say that would undo the truth. It wasn't just her betrayal that broke me. It was realizing how long I'd been blind to the signs, how much I'd tolerated under the illusion of love. By noon, I was sitting in a cafe, sipping black coffee and staring at nothing. That's when I saw her message come through again. One line that made me exhale in disbelief. I made a mistake. Please come home. Home. The word felt foreign now. Our house wasn't home anymore. It was a museum of empty promises and fading memories. Still, I replied. Not out of hope, but out of finality. Your debts and your freedom belong to you now. So do your choices. Goodbye, Melissa. I hit send and turned my phone face down. For the first time in years, I felt something close to peace, not happiness, not yet, but the kind of calm that comes after surviving a storm. Days passed. Word spread among friends and family, the usual mix of pity and gossip. Some called me heartless for leaving her like that, others called me brave. I didn't correct anyone. People always have opinions about pain they never lived through. Melissa tried again a week later, an email this time. She wrote that she was sorry, that she missed the way I used to look at her, that she didn't realize what she was losing. But I'd learned something about love. When it's real, you don't have to beg for it to stay. And when it's gone, no apology can bring it back. Months went by. The divorce papers came, signed without hesitation. I settled into my own rhythm. Early mornings, long walks, dinners alone that didn't feel so lonely anymore. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It sneaks up on you in quiet moments when you realize you no longer ache. Sometimes I think back to her words. My lips don't belong to you anymore. I used to hate that sentence. Now I understand it. She was right. Her lips didn't belong to me. But what she forgot was that loyalty, respect, and honesty weren't mine to own either. They were hers to give. And when she stopped giving them, the marriage ended itself. In the end, I didn't lose a wife. I just stopped holding on to someone who'd already let go. The end.